Hello and welcome to the Zooming Hoosk podcast. I'm your host, Dustin Husky.
And I'm Grant Sarpus.
It's reference from last episode. And then the cat is munching again. It's actually too bad that you can't just
Notify outside of the app?
Well, before you even go live, but join us.
So today's episode is brought to you by
A whole bunch of snacking.
Snack bars.
Yeah, which, like, I don't say this to be mean, but I swear, if we ever make this go live at cons, it will literally just be me, you, this laptop, this fuzzy mic, and a snack bar. That's what's likely it's going to be. It's just going to be mostly the snack bar taking much of the view. Because I at least try to somewhat eat before podcasts, because I can only do one thing. Snacking and eating is just not efficient for me. I don't know. But anyway, let's go on. Let's get beyond that.
I was thinking today's theme, and we can reiterate this later.
All right.
When more people are showing up, but
if people show up.
Things that make you happy.
In what the context? In what
any context. Just things that make you happy. For you, I was thinking, because I know you so well, things that make you happy.
Or Bundaberg.
Knowing that sometime, possibly in the very near future, your ex-boss could be choked to death in the night
by his own neck.
By his own neck fat. How does that make you feel?
It makes me very, very happy.
See? Things that make you happy.
Okay, so let's actually talk about the things. You know what? That's a good way to start, because I'm going to segue into another thing.
Sure.
The things that make us happy. All right, so let's actually discuss about things that make us both happy. I like hanging out with friends. That's a universal one for a lot of people. Being with those that you enjoy being around.
Yes.
For me, I enjoy going to car shows, because you know what? That involves three things that I enjoy doing. Looking at cars, taking film photos of cars, or just photography in general, and being with your friends. Because I will say this, if it's a group activity, never go alone. You go to a convention, you hope to at least know you're going to be hanging out with someone, at least one group or one friend the entire weekend to fall back on. Not to say you should have someone to fall back on, but it is nice to know that you can have someone to fall back on. So, yeah, photography makes me happy. Various collections in an organized fashion does make me happy. Listening to music and collecting tape cassettes of bands and albums that I absolutely cherish makes me happy. And also, projects can also keep you happy in the moment of you starting a project and getting it done. Now, before I go into my own segue of projects and time, because that's a big one, and of course, the format we're currently on YouTube, I got something to go off on that. What makes you happy, though? What are some things that makes the sourpuss happy?
Snacks.
Yeah, that's actually a big one. Like, literally, that table, this table, and a bit of that table is all full of poo snacks.
I don't know. Being organized. Now, that's more of just a neutralizing my own OCD.
I think we all have OCD to a point.
We do.
And to a certain level.
But I guess if you can control your OCD, that makes you happy. So
I think in a good world, if you can actually have everything that you want
in a perfect world,
organized, and you can keep it that way, yeah, you can perpetuate happiness by knowing that things are in their place. Yeah, I can understand that. What are some other things that make you happy? This would be better off chilled, but I just bought this, so.
Video games make me happy.
There we go.
And video game music makes me
That's a big one.
Extremely happy.
That is a very big one.
Everything from chiptunes to like now.
I mean, you fall asleep to that.
Yeah.
That's actually one thing. Where some people like to have background music or background noise or white noise while they sleep.
Waterfalls, rainfalls.
I am a person that likes absolute calm and silence. Because you know what? I can still hear everything what I need to. Especially nowadays, in case you get broken in, you can hear that.
Yeah.
If you get used to the idea of listening sounds all the time, someone breaking in, you may not know if that's part of the soundtrack or if that's a real thing. To me, that's just my mindset.
Yep.
Something's going to wake me up. It's got a good reason why it should. Like my alarm wakes me up.
Yep.
Or a window smashed in. You know what will wake me up and put a bayonet on the moist nugget and then storm up the stairs while wearing just nothing but underwear and socks and scaring someone with a 5-foot-long rifle with a 2-foot-long bayonet. You know what? I don't know what's more terrifying, that or the man who is both all naked minus underwear. I said all naked minus underwear. Hopefully that puts clothing on. But you absolutely like chiptunes to fall asleep, and you know what? There is something musical and nice about that. It's just, I can understand like 30 minutes. There are some people now. Okay,
I will wake up probably 2 hours later and turn it off.
So what you really need is a timer.
Yeah.
A timer of 30 minutes to play it while you sleep, then in deep sleep. So that means you don't have to wake up again. Because you know what?
Yeah.
That's almost kind of doing double duty.
Most of the time, YouTube will pause it.
Not always.
Not always.
Yeah. So
depends on the video, really. I know this falls under the realm of snacks, but cheese makes me happy as well.
Aww. And Wisconsin has a lot of cheese. All right, so I want to get into a segue into a similar topic of things you like to do, the time, and YouTube. As we all know, well, as you all know, then me and Kurdan, we work for a living. We're not online all the time. Granted, there are things that I'd like to do projects on. Here's my beef about the world that we live in and the things you like to do and how the world does not give a shit about the things you like to do. Because you know why? You got to work. I give credit to YouTubers for only one thing. They have to work every waking minute of their day. I'm going to be surprised if any one of them gets at least 8 hours of sleep. I'm sure very few of them, because most of their target audience is normally available in the evening or the afternoon, the evening, and the night. Because that's the only time when their audience is around before they go to bed. So maybe a lot of these YouTubers that, work on their own time, because if you are a YouTuber, I'm going to assume that is your job. If you are a YouTuber, that means you don't do, let's say, an actual day's work in the outside world, but you do an actual day's work online. that's one thing. If you're a YouTuber, you're actually getting paid for the content that you are actually producing on your time, which means you're actually in a comparison, my spare time equals to that of your whole day. You want to make the most of it. But not only make the most of it, that is your livelihood. That's something I can at least respect, because that means a month is a make or break if you get to pay rent.
Yeah.
Or else for me, I drive a bus, but I have a guarantee that I'm going to have 2 good paychecks a month and not have to worry about money. Not one bit. The problem is with that, and the things that I like and the things that I like to do are totally 2 different things. And this is my point. There's my project called the Film Photography Miniseries that I've been wanting to do since last fall. Oh, I tapped on the poos feet, which are currently bandaged up, which...
Oh, the bandage fell off.
Oh, the poor bandaged poos ball. And you know what? I work for a living. Whether from my last job or my current job, which my current job allows me to have 3 days off instead of 2 days off. That's an extra day I didn't have before. That's actually kind of nice. And technically Saturday, since I work butt-ass early anyway, it's almost to say I actually work 3.5 days off. In the scheme of things, even that, I struggle to find the time to do even my own personal projects, because sometimes other things kind of get in the way, or there are other things that I got to do or want to do, and sometimes projects get put on the back burner for a while.
Yep.
My script is about probably 70 to 80% complete. I still have 2 episodes of my 10-part series to write. Then I can start filming. Then I can really start trying to be a professional and actually try to iron out a really good series on analog film photography, free to the world. I'm not even going to ask for Patreon, because I don't have a Patreon, or I'm not even monetized on YouTube. I am literally doing this on my own time. And even if you offer me donations, that is quite nice of you, but I don't need it, because you know why? I am just doing this for the fun of it. I'm just doing it to have fun, to get a better understanding of something I've always enjoyed, which, believe it or not, I've learned quite a bit from my time doing research. However, I've discovered the amount of hours in a day that I work at my job and the amount of leftover hours that I have in my day before wanting to go to bed and just do nothing but solidly, firmly swirl on my bed for 6 to 8 hours before waking up and doing the same thing all over again. I have 10 to 12 hours a day work. I may have anywhere from 2 to 4 hours to myself, and then spend about 6 to 8 hours sleeping. I don't know what that comes down to for a day, but that's my day when you look at it overall. Would I be a bit more productive? Would I be a more productive Hoosk if I didn't have to work 10, 12 hours a day, knowing that I can earn the money regardless? Somehow, somewhere, I'm getting paid the same amount. Just by sitting on my ass at home and being able to do the things I want to do, you know what? I would be able to do all the things I want to do and more, just with the amount of free time that I would have if I didn't have to spend doing work, which YouTubers, you have all the day you have all the time in the day. However, you're literally using every hour of the day, every minute of the day trying to work, because it is a make or break scheme that is very, very thin margins. You're not being wealthy on YouTube. You're actually making do. You're actually getting paid probably to pay your rent and maybe a little bit more, and not by much. You're probably subsiding more on donations by your followers. Beyond that, I don't think you're really making a good living. You're making a living, but not as comfortable as you like to think it is.
That's why when they do advertisements, they have sponsors.
It's the only way that they can guarantee a good month of not having to worry about paying for rent.
Right.
I can understand that. Me, I don't have to worry about that. You'll never see me sponsor a product or have commercials on my videos, because you know what? I'm doing all right. I don't really need it. And frankly, I think you're all annoyed of the idea of having to see more commercials and stuff that you want to watch and rather watch it and not have to see any other. No. But this raises a good problem in today's world. Not just for YouTubers, even just in general. People would like to do more things in their time, in their waking day. The problem is they spend much of their day working. As someone had put it to me, you know your coworkers more than you do your own family after a while.
So true.
Because you work with your coworkers more than you see your family. That's a fact. That's truth. Do not count time asleep as time getting to know your family, because you know what? You're unplugging from the rest of the world for 6-8 hours a night. That doesn't mean you're getting to know someone. No, you're literally doing one thing, and that's just to rest. You're literally spending 2 to 4 hours of your evening with the world before you tune out. For the most part, Munchcat. For the most part, that's 8 to 12 hours in a day that you're working with someone and not even with anyone you'd want to be with. So, you know what would make me happy?
What?
It's having all the time in the world to do the things that I want to do, that either A, I still do a full-time day work, but have a longer day, or let's say an 8th day in the week, as I mentioned.
No.
We're not blessed with a 30-hour day. We're not blessed with 8 days a week. In my case, if I were to work the same amount, it'd be 4 days on, 4 days off.
That would be beautiful.
You know what? I would not mind having 2 weekends in a so-called 8-day week. That would be pretty dope. Having 2 days together, 2 days off, and 2 days together, perfect. Imagine what the world could be. Hell, shit, imagine vacation time. You didn't have to use that much vacation time if you really think about it. I don't know. It's just I noticed that there's not enough time in the day to do the stuff you want to do.
No, it never is.
And you know what? Even on my day off, I got shit that I want to do. Not that I say I would not want to do this, because you know what? This is one of the things I want to do today. It's just after this, there are other things I'd rather do. I have someone coming over this weekend, Ricky, who we are celebrating 1 year together. So we're just going to just hang out and whatnot. I want to spruce up the place before she comes over, so that way everything is all nice and tidy and whatnot. Because you know what? I don't have enough time. Today is make or break. I will have no time Friday to do anything, because you know my Fridays.
Yeah.
My Fridays are rough. Remember the time that my dad tried to call me and then called my mom?
Yeah.
You know how pissed off I was? You know how yelling I was?
Yeah.
I'm frustrated in the fact that, yeah, I don't want to talk to my dad because I have 2 hours to myself before I have to go to bed. Why should I have to deal with any other human being on the planet when I have looking forward to 4 nights, 4 hours of sleep before pulling a 12-hour shift? And by the time I get off work, I should have been in bed 2 hours prior. That's my Friday. You understand how frustrating that is for me.
Yep.
And how much I value my own personal time.
Yep.
And to think that people think that their time is worth more than mine at that moment absolutely pisses me off, especially on a Friday night, because people should know.
Yep.
Fridays are nuts for me.
Yep.
And Saturdays, long and tiring.
When I used to work
Hey there, Alpha.
When I used to work at Blockbuster Video,
Mm-hmm.
blast from the past, I would pull one full open and close, which was opening at 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
closing at midnight. And then I would pull.
That's what, a 14-hour day.
Yeah. And then I would pull an opening shift the following morning. So close the store, get out of there in 10, 15 minutes, drive home. That's another 10, 15 minutes. So home by 12:30, hopefully in bed by 1, wake back up at 7:30, 8 o'clock to be back at the store by 9.
So in that 14-hour shift, do you actually have 2 lunch periods?
I really didn't take lunch.
That's a bad habit, but
That's me. And I still do that in my current job too.
You know what? After my last job, I will never, ever, ever, even though they were adamant about me taking my lunch breaks, but holy cow, did they work you to the bone?
Yep.
I have a better appreciation for my breaks and my lunch break and my time off too. They keep asking me on my days off if I want to come into work for any amount of time. It's like, dude, you have to put an iron fist on the other drivers and tell them you show up to work. Because, hey, if it means that there are few people to show up, no, okay, all right. So the way that I'm understanding this at my job, which we don't even have personal days, if I'm getting this correctly, with the amount of people, the amount of dispatchers ask me on my days off if I want to come into work, because there's few drivers that want to show up. Are you telling me that you're actually allowing people to take off work for a day? Probably no pay. But I am assuming that you could probably take a day off, not get paid for it, but you can take the day off and they won't pester you because they're pestering the other drivers that do work their shift.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I would not mind taking a few Saturdays off this
Here's
year.
a question.
What?
What would they do if you missed a day?
I actually don't know, and I actually want to ask them that question.
Because it seems like if it's the Walmart mentality, slap on the wrist, and they put somewhere in paperwork or digitally that you missed a shift, but
I know
they don't
after
actually do anything to you.
I know that after 3 days in a month, you will get written up to possible termination, unless you have a doctor's note saying why you went 3 days without work.
Walmart doesn't even accept doctor's notes.
That's amazing. Shit, I don't even have a doctor, so I'm kind of screwed out of luck. But the thing is, I'm a good worker. I show up to work every day, and I think they appreciate that, the dispatchers. The problem is, I think they expect a lot. No, I don't think they expect a lot out of me. They're actually wondering if I might do more work, which, to be honest, I barely have enough time on a work day. Why would they believe I would show up? Like the one time I did time on my own day off, I only wanted to be scheduled for 6 hours from 6 a.m. to noon. That was overtime. They put 2 hours of overtime on top of my 6 hours of overtime. I worked 8 fucking hours on my day off when I only wanted to work 6. So 6 hours of overtime plus 2 hours of overtime. If that makes sense. I didn't want to do
overtime.
Yeah, because if you think about it, the 6 hours in the morning to be off by noon, I was still on the road by 2 o'clock.
They kept giving you clients.
Well, they made a schedule thinking it was a day that I worked, which was even more dumb, which I'm actually kind of burnt by that. I will refuse to come in on a day off unless it's a holiday. If they will do that shit to me again on a day off, they'd say, sure, yeah, I can do 4 hours. Am I going to get 6 hours? Am I going to get 10? And I'm going to work an average 12-hour day on my day off when I said, only 4, bitch. Only 4. Because that actually pisses me off. I show up to work when I need to, even 3:30 in the morning on a Saturday, and I show up to work. And yet, they ask everyone on a daily basis, hey, can anyone come in tomorrow on their day off? Or anyone working or anyone taking off Friday or has a Friday day off, or practically any day off. They ask operators on the fly, hey, can you work tomorrow? They did that to me yesterday. They buzzed me on the radio, went to the help channel and say, hey, I know that you're off tomorrow. Do you want to come in tomorrow and work some extra money? Which, extra money is kind of nice, but you know what? I kind of value my time off.
Yep. A lot of people do.
But I don't want to be selfish to the idea that I'm not going to go above and beyond the company, which, to be honest, I don't do that much anymore. After the last time at my old company, which I thought if I would to, where are your glasses? You should wear your glasses, Cat. And the cat does not want to wear his glasses. It's just, you're posted to show up unless you have an actual reason. Okay. It seems like every damn day they do this. How the hell are there people taking time off?
And they just let it happen.
Unless it's vacation time that they're saying, hey, there are people off. But it seems like, I don't know.
I think they know that every day someone's going to
because there are some people
show, and they just plan for it.
Yeah. Or, people calling in, well, not just calling in sick, because during this whole pandemic, you either are sick or you're not sick. And often enough, I don't think many people got sick that I know of, because if you were safe, what?
Since we have Alpha here, we're talking about things that make us happy originally before we led into this, which is a little less happy. So I'm just going to ask King Alpha, what makes you happy? And answer in your own time.
Yeah.
And we'll get back to you.
Ask for or demand, how many days off? Well, technically in my industry, we don't really have, although I should look at in the worker's handbook, which I never bothered to read this time, because after the last time I read a worker's handbook, I got more pissed off at my last company. So I should only look at the part where time off and vacation time off. Next year, when I finally get my 1 year down, I get 2 weeks paid vacation. Okay, all right, that's kind of nice. But what do I have to do until then? I don't have any days off, except once a month I'm allowed one fuck up by the company.
Well,
whether if I don't show up to work or I sleep in, it will not count against me. So technically, I will have 1 day a month that I can use a fuck up day for. The question is, it has to be intentional that you have to do that. Meaning, oh, hey, I'm sorry, I slept in. Am I already slept in halfway through my normal shift? Well, then I may as well not show up to work then, because at that point, may as well just take the point and have the day off.
And for us at Walmart, we earn, I guess it's for every 8 hours worked. No, every 9 hours worked, we earn 0.5 hours off. So after a month, I get basically 2 days that I can take off.
After a month?
Yeah.
You know what? I kind of like that system. Why don't...
And those are protected days. I request them. They have to give them to me.
See, no, that's actually perfect. And even Walmart does that.
Yeah.
But a transportation network company doesn't give anyone, not even like it. Let's say if you work on your birthday, you just work on your birthday. You just can't. Although I'm sure you could try to take the day off or use a vacation day. I really don't know how that works. And what if you just don't want to use a vacation day, but just want to take the day off?
Right. But we're talking two different industries, really. And you guys have a much smaller staff than we do. So
maybe
with us, it's basically they're counting on the idea that, yeah, if 2 or 3 people request off the same day, they can still pick from other areas of the store to cover what they need covered. And it usually always works out.
Right. I mean, I know for a fact that in my industry, you're allowed 6 days to call off work until they really start to say, hey, look, you provide us proof that you're sick or it's instant termination. So technically, you could take 3 unpaid days in a month. They say in a month because apparently, from what they told me, you can fuck up once a month, which I only did accidentally once. And that was my first 2.5 weeks there. And it so happened to be my phone updated in the middle of the night. And since it required Wi-Fi, it didn't finish the update until I had. Yeah, that was the only time.
Thanks, Samsung, and your stupid updates.
Yeah, that pissed me off. I wouldn't mind if it updated during the day, but
you can schedule it.
Yeah, I thought I did, but it automatically did it. It did it by
so. Automatically.
But that one time I never got talked to, probably because it was a fluke. But I also showed up to finish the rest of the day. So it's not like I said, oh, I fucked up. I guess I'm not coming in until tomorrow. No, I got there late. But I still did what I needed to do.
So you didn't actually miss a day even?
No, I never missed a day, but I only woke up once late. Yeah. I was only 2 hours late.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's nothing. Walmart would be the same way. As long as you're there for the remainder of the shift.
Yeah, I actually really, really want to find out this whole system of how many days I can take off. Because there's a mechanism for if you fuck up. But what happens if you just want to take a day off? Because, like, a lot of people have been telling me right now, because they know that I don't have any personal days, period. Even with vacation time, you don't get any personal days.
Yeah.
They are telling me, hey, well, what happens if you need a day off? Because they don't expect every person wanting to at least come into work every day, which at my last job, I just technically did anyway. But it's because they didn't want to use any personal time because I didn't need to until I needed it. Especially during pandemic, I wanted to make sure that I had it just in case, so I never took a day off. Only vacation time off. I got to look into that handbook only for that alone. I know that after 5 years, you get 3 weeks, which, to be honest, I say, because I think in any industry, it's a revolving door for those that don't stick in it for 5 years' time.
Yeah.
Make the incentive to keep people by offering 3 or 4 weeks by the time you're there 3, 4, or 5 years. Because you know what? Everyone offers 2 weeks paid vacation. Well, some don't, but that's rare. Eventually, everyone needs time off.
Yeah.
Or unless you're fast food and you don't get it, you just quit. And you just rejoin another store. Probably not that one.
No.
But I want to actually ask the road safety manager if I can use that one day of fuck up a month and use it for a day I want to have off. Because I kind of want to take some days off this year. It's just I don't want to put myself into jeopardy that because the only days I want off is a Saturday. I just need Saturdays off because you know what? I work Saturdays. But it's a vicious system when everything goes on a weekend where everyone that I know, except for you, normally is off Saturday and Sunday. They get off work on a Friday. You and me are the only ones that actually work a week or a weekend day.
Yeah.
Or unless I get another route that I have Fridays and Saturdays off. But that seems to be a bit more up there. It's out of my reach as far as seniority, because which apparently soon in June or July, the company is going to have all the routes up for grabs, and people with the highest seniority will obviously take the better routes.
Here's a question for you.
What?
Where do you think you'd be right now if you stayed with
Marsh
right now?
I'd be in the same spot doing much more work, getting paid the same amount, which is diddly squat, and not get recognized for any of it. It was a nothing job, and you know what?
And not getting paid for what?
Oh, diddly squat.
No. What did you not get paid for?
Oh, overtime.
Yep.
They gypped me on so much overtime that I should have kept count of how much overtime that I made, but to be honest, I was wanting to get out of that company anyway, so it didn't really matter. To me, it would
who was in charge of tallying up your time?
My fat ass boss. He's the one that actually looks at payroll before he sends it off to HR.
Mr. Neckfat.
Which I think is the worst thing to do.
And what is he using right now to move around the warehouse?
He uses a what's called the make of this machine is Crown, like the Crown forklifts. The model of this machine is called a Wave, WAVE. Look at that online and you know what I'm talking about. The Wave is this four-wheeled electric motorized utility vehicle inside a warehouse that goes up and down. It actually elevates up and down this platform with like a wire grate shelf that you can put parts on, boxes of parts on.
And why does he use this?
Oh, because he's perfectly lazy. He gained 35 pounds since I left.
So what do we think he's at now?
He's at 315 pounds. So look at me.
Mm-hmm.
I have shoulders.
Yep.
I have a head.
Yep.
And I have a neck. You see this defining. Well, just ignore that. But you see this.
We can't see it on there, so.
They see a defining line where the head meets the neck,
yep,
and where the shoulders meet the neck.
Uh-huh.
I have a head, neck, shoulders, knees, and toes. My boss, apparently, the last time I saw him, his neck was out from his head and out from his neck. The 35 pounds actually all went to his neck to the point that he is literally triangle cone man. His head is now a seamless line from top of head to his shoulders. There is no more defining neck.
So basically, where your shirt is, it would just be kind of like that.
Yeah. He is a fat ass.
And then this would
like,
be...
like a genuine fat ass. It just it's like a volcano or a zit volcano. I don't know. But my old boss is becoming more lazier and lazier by the day. And yeah, honestly, my current job, dream job. I could see myself doing this for many, 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 many years because it's just perfect.
My old boss had to reapply for her job.
Mm-hmm.
And she got something different than she was when I was over there.
Are we talking about
Stephanie?
Oh, Stephanie.
Yeah, she was my supervisor.
I thought you were talking about Dingbat.
Who's Dingbat?
Your crush.
Oh no, she's gone. Nobody knows where she's at or what she's doing now.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah. I could hear it in her voice when she left. That was the last time we were going to ever talk. Because I blocked her on my phone. I'm not friends with her on Facebook. I think I actually blocked her on Facebook too when we were going through the really bad period. But no, my previous supervisor at the last store I was at, which is the first Walmart I ever worked at, Stephanie, who, shout out to Stephanie, a very hard worker, good supervisor, a little on the high-strung side when it came to showing off in front of the store manager. I remember one time she not flipped out on me, but she basically was trying to show off that she was my supervisor and what she says goes.
Oh my God, I hate those supervisors that think that they are in control of everything when there's really a higher power above them.
Because she pulled this, and she only did this one time to me, and I was literally in shock because I wasn't expecting it. I'd only been there for probably 2 weeks, maybe. And in those 2 weeks, I had only been trained to do one thing, and that was to put dairy out. Dairy, lots of cheeses, and some frozen goods. I didn't even know that we were supposed to pull things that had been considered overstock out of the back room and put them onto the floor.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I knew at that point, that was not part of my job.
I'll let you continue.
It's okay. So the store manager came back there and was talking to her, and she just all of a sudden just started yelling. She was like, "This is your job. you need to do this every day. And I was like, okay, what are we talking about? Because I literally didn't even know what exactly my job was, but she was yelling and showing off and puffing up in front of the store manager just to show how in charge she was.
What is it that you actually do here?
What is it you actually do here? I told you, I deal with the goddamn customers.
It is time
I'm a
to start
people
looking at-
person.
All right. So
So-
I'll let you continue. I'm going to see if there is a fraud.
What the
and
hell is wrong
abuse
with you
laws.
people? But yeah, beyond that one explosion, she was a super cool boss. She has had to, since then, step down, reapply for basically a job, the same job or different job. Because that's what they do to their managers every like year and a half. It's stupid. But, and she looked like this guy from National Treasure.
Nicolas Cage.
She was the female version of Nicolas Cage, basically. Her forehead was always furrowed, like this.
Her hair is always her hair is always a bird.
Uh-huh. And King Alpha says, music makes me happy. Same. What kind of music is my question? Sleep, video games, yep. Chatting with friends online, watching TV, working out, cooking, and watching Seinfeld. Shout out to Seinfeld.
Oh my God, the Seinfeld makes me happy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Definitely agree.
Oh my God, these things are so cute. I
These
don't even know
pretzels.
what they are.
These pretzels, they're making me thirsty. No. You're doing it all wrong. These pretzels are making me thirsty. Nothing? Seinfeld reference?
Oh, I am reading something about
No.
something that I may have actually
I'm sure King Alpha knows what I'm talking about.
there's a thing about gifts where employees are prohibited from soliciting or giving gifts. Oh, wait a minute.
GIFTSs?
Or any personal benefit or favor from or to suppliers, potential. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Sounds
Never
like
mind.
bribery they're talking about.
Yeah, if I bribed people, that's bad. If they bribed me, that's good.
Okay.
Because someone gave me a box of wafer crackers and exit interviews. I don't want to do that anytime soon. Dispatch hospital of emergency only, but they're using.
George got extremely. He's like, these pretzels, they're making me thirsty.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry was very nonchalant. He was all like, these pretzels are making me thirsty. And of course, Kramer, who had no acting experience, at least the character himself, was like, no, you're all wrong. Oh, that was his role, I think, wasn't it? Kramer's role? Wasn't he supposed to sit there next to Woody Allen and talk to him at the bar during this movie that they were making? And George was parking cars. Or he was literally moving cars from one side of the street to the other so that all the residents wouldn't have to pay the parking fee. And the black guy was getting in his face too, because he had the whole street was messed up, and he was like, "You can park a car, yeah. You don't know how to park a car."
Attendance.
Yeah.
Doesn't mention. It makes it only mention once. Oh no, this is actually leave. Okay, never mind.
And then George at some point was just like
benefits.
fed up and yelling out the window. He's like, all right, I hear you. So pissed. So all the cars are beeping and honking. And you want to be my latex salesman.
Mm-hmm.
Say Vandelay! Say Vandelay! Vanda what? Say Vandelay Industries!
That doesn't tell me anything.
I think that's the episode where he talked about having to take his shirt off whenever he goes to the bathroom.
Editing time cards. I don't want to do that either.
Do you have to take your shirt off when you go to the bathroom, Hoosk?
I refuse to say.
Aw.
Risk assessment, parking. Be safe. Employee transfer requests, but there's really nothing in the state that will allow me to transfer anywhere in the state. So. Milwaukee's my only place, which, to be honest,
me too. Here. I have every episode. I have it in digital and
whistleblowing policy,
physical form. They don't want you to whistleblow.
There is a man inspecting wiper blades on a bus. There we go.
No.
You know what?
Don't blow your whistle.
Notices, introductions.
Use pretzels.
American Transportation Enterprises is founded in 1955.
Pennypacker, Vandelay. What's the other name? There was Pennypacker, Vandelay, Varnson. I think it was Varnson.
History of the company. Oh, wait here. Their content table is in the front of the.
I hear a poos.
He's really angry. You know what? Nothing in this handbook tells me anything about vacation time. Oh, it's the polecat. He's finally on the podcast. Oh, no, he ran away.
Where's the poos?
His complaint.
Hey, polecat.
I thought you had him.
Say hello to the world.
Hello, world.
Okay, now get the hell out of here.
Okay, bye.
And take the cat with you.
And he took that literally, too. Seriously, there is nothing in this employee handbook that will tell me anything about
time off.
Time off. No.
Here, let's see.
No, it's nothing in here.
Let me see.
You want to go with benefits?
King Alpha, did you see the unaired Mexican Day Parade? Is what it was called. The actual episode.
Mr. Poos? Oh, no, he went upstairs. Yeah, like, I have no idea. Oh, Section 5. You want to go to Section 5? Section 5.
Requesting leave. Generally, employees must give 30 days advance notice. The need for FMLA leave. It is not possible to give 30 days notice. Must notify the employer as soon as possible and generally follow the employee's usual procedures, whatever those may be. You do not have to share medical diagnosis, but must provide enough information to the employer so it can determine if the leave.
It doesn't tell me what I'm looking for.
Hold on. We're not there yet.
So yeah, Seinfeld this, Seinfeld that. Good stuff.
Yep. Okay, good. It's a great episode. Black Sob. Maroon Gull.
I just like the episode where Kramer and Newman deliver mail.
Oh God, yeah.
And they're like, the USPS has never operated at a percentage of higher than 80%. Something like that, where Kramer is actually doing the job of a postman, and he's doing such a good job that he's actually like efficient about it. And Newman's like, that's incredible. No one has ever had has ever attained an efficiency of 80%. But yeah, good stuff.
You remember the episode where Kramer didn't want his mail anymore, and they ended up sending the postmaster general after him. So, and they brought Kramer into like a room where it's just like a light, and they're questioning him. It's like, so we hear you don't want your mail anymore. And by the end of the interview, Kramer was crying because he was being interviewed by that one guy. He does those diabetes commercials. The white-haired guy, with the mustache.
Wilford Brimley?
Wilford Brimley played the postmaster general. And at the end of the interview, Kramer was crying. And he was like, now you want this mail, don't you? He's like, yeah, I want my mail. He was like, yeah. Okay, you take your mail and you go on out of here. Sleeping on the job.
Can you actually do that? Tell the post office that you don't want your mail anymore.
Kind of.
You could say you could put it in a P.O. box and never, ever look
I
at
had
it.
an agreement with a carrier. The guy knew that he knew because he could tell all the stuff that was coming through to the parent Pooses.
Yep.
Was all non-for-profit organization stuff.
Yeah.
And he would just pull it out of the mail for me so we didn't have to deal with it. But that was kind of an understanding between a customer and a carrier. So the post office themselves, they'll still send it through.
I mean, they have to.
They have to.
Whether if it's something that they want, they are legally bound to give people their mail, even if it is junk.
Sleeping, dozing, or giving the appearance of sleeping during on-duty work time.
Yeah, that's hard to do on a bus. Well,
Yeah.
you can, but you just
Pretend to be sleeping? I mean, who does that?
you just have to really train yourself by keeping your eyes open. There is actually a video of a bus driver that fell asleep on a downhill descent.
Oh, my God.
By the time he finally woke up, he had actually smashed through like 17 vehicles.
Oh, my God.
He went to jail.
When I did work in property management, the next door neighbor, he had a guy that worked for him that did maintenance on all the properties that they managed. I don't see any either.
Are you in section 5?
I'm in 8.
You're not in section 5, Kat. Hold on.
But
give
this
you section
guy
5.
that did maintenance for all the different properties, I caught him sleeping in a parking lot at a. It was just like a public park.
Lactation accommodation.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Still, though, you shouldn't be a bus driver if you have to lactate on your. Yeah, at that point, that's an office worker job right there.
Yeah. But I caught him sleeping actually in the van.
There we go. That's what you want. Oh, yeah. Would you really want to have in a apartment complex a picture of yourself with your name below it?
And they were going through like,
I know that asshole.
Jerry.
Yeah. I mean, okay, if you live in apartments, you want to get to know your neighbors and you want to be on good terms. Maybe not a bad idea to get to know each other and whatnot. You might make some friends along the way, and you might make some good friends to say, hey, I have a package coming my way. Do you think you can hold on to it until I get back from work? So there's some good benefit to wanting to know your neighbors. Then there's some people that really don't care or just want dirt on you just to get into just trouble. Yeah. Oh my God.
The funniest part about that is that actually happened in Larry David's apartment.
Larry David,
the co-writer with Jerry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Almost everything that happened in every one of those episodes is based off of something
that did happen.
Something similar that happened, maybe not in the same magnitude, or I'm sure it was exaggerated in a very comedic way, but somebody in Larry David's apartment tried to do that. It failed miserably, of course, because why would you want that?
I don't know. It's just, honestly, you have your apartment number. Yeah. See, even actually Cat couldn't find it.
Which means they can just make it up on the fly.
Which is why you're better off asking.
Yeah.
But then again, the one time when I asked about my 401k, if like what the company matches, they say, oh yeah, it's we're never going to tell you, but it's at the end of the year where we do a whole collective. We do it collectively so that way you get your share at the end of the year. It's like, okay, all right, that was a waste of my month. And my dad pissing me off that he has to keep asking me, well, what is your percentage? Like, well, I'm getting to that. And then when I told him, it's like, well, what is your percentage? Didn't I just tell you? They didn't say, which means drop it. Because after a while, if I don't get what I'm looking for, I give up. Because you know what? It is annoying. It is annoying to keep going when you don't get anywhere. So, yeah, it's just... I know for a fact that after a year I get 2 weeks, but as far as like time off, it looks like I have to ask, which I know one of the administrators not only by name, but he trained me. I could probably email him to see if I could possibly take an unpaid day off on my choosing, if that's possible, because they have to expect at least I'm not going to be there nearly every day.
The only thing I got from that book was that you have to you have to request it within 30 days in advance.
Right. Which, knowing me, I always do I always put in my time 6 months apart anyway. So to me, that's no big deal.
The funny thing about that, though, even 30 days, you know how many things happen within a 30-day period? People come and go, like employees leave and then come in.
What do you mean by that? Oh, you mean
new hires and people leaving, quitting?
You know what? If they approve it, I don't think they can really take it from you, especially when you give them plenty of time.
It just makes me laugh because even with that much time, 4 weeks still is not enough time to prepare them for whatever happens at the actual time of your request. What if everybody goes on strike?
I go on vacation anyway. That may be the only time where I get paid. Who knows? Yeah. My employee handbook does not tell me a single thing about days off.
I would check with your who's in charge of your union.
Oh yeah, she's another driver.
Check with her.
I forgot her name, but
we'll find out her name and check with her because she'll know. She should know all that stuff.
I do know that there was a timetable of like how much you get paid for how long you've been there. So that's actually public knowledge. That's in the break room. So they're not hiding this information because they don't want you to know. Some of this information about pay grades is open. Yeah. So this stuff, it's not like it's being hidden for a reason. It's just omitted because they're printing out a handbook for every region of the country, and it doesn't have to be specific to one branch or one station.
Right.
I think I may have her card.
I would check with her because that's going to be the person to talk to with, especially like what you're rightfully owed from the company.
Because I know that by December I get my 2 weeks. Well, officially, people can start. Which actually, the nice thing, well, I guess for the 30 days, I guess that's just on par with what I read in the handbook. But you have 30 days to put in your time off for whatever amount of time. So that means for January of the following year, you put in your time in for December. Which means for me, I'm going to put in all my time from, the time off to put it all down in December for next year. That's if we do this schedule change thing, which happens every year, which is kind of silly and dumb, but I don't get that, but whatever. I guess some people like to have change in their life, but to me, give me a schedule and I'll work it. I'll be happy. But if I have to keep constantly worried about every year the schedule's going to change just slightly, it's going to throw me off so bad. Just give me a shift, give me a route, and I'll be happy. Just don't fucking change it every year on me where I'm first shift, second shift, first shift. No, fuck that shit.
I'm gonna pee real quick. Pee break for Poos.
That is nearly every episode. So yeah, pretty much. I don't know a whole lot much. So yeah. So how was everything in the day of King Alpha? How are you doing? I actually do not hate my job. I love it a lot. It's actually probably the best job I've ever had in forever. I appreciate my drivers or my other operators. Dispatchers come to respect me quite well. Like they say that I've got upper management written all over me just because of the way how I carry myself on my ordinary day on my bus. Because there's 6 cameras on my bus, which does not bother me one bit. Because if you do your job well, the cameras don't matter. And they've been tapping my bus every single damn day just to see what I do. And so far they say, everything you're doing better than what we taught you. So, just keep up the good work. We're really impressed. The only thing that I don't care about my new job is the idea that you don't have time off. Not vacation time off. You have to earn that. I understand that. It's no sick days. That's the one thing that I don't understand. Is a job like mine, you at least expected to at least want some sick days. That's the only thing I gripe about my job. My last job? Oh my God, that was bad. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. My current job? I love it. It's maybe one of the best things I've ever done and something greater than I am. As far as putting value into what you do and what comes out of that, you're helping a lot of people get through their day. And to me, that's special to me. And I can genuinely appreciate the fact that you are actually a huge part in people's lives. And that's something I can live with. So, no, I don't actually hate what I do for a job. It's just really the small nuances of why don't they give us some sick days? Because I'm sure we could use some sick days, at least to say we have a sick day. Even if it's not paid, just give a sick day. Or give yourself the option to keep your route. That way I don't have to worry about the rest of the year. In case I get a different route, I have to maybe change my vacation time to other days, which I may or may not have, scheduling wise, whatnot. It might throw things off. So yeah, it's a new industry. It's a bit strange. I still like it. Just getting used to the idea of everything. So
Did you hear me?
no.
Oh, good. I did the Walmart pee guy thing.
Oh.
Every time I go to the bathroom at my job, somebody is in there peeing.
Buckets.
And they are so loud about the relief that they get from...
That they get off on it.
I don't know if they get off on it, but they're just like, That's so loud.
Relaxing is good because you know what? Everyone needs time for themselves to relax, because if you can't find time to relax, you're going to burn out because you're going to realize you don't have enough me time, and that stresses people out, which I can understand because that was my last job. Not enough time in the day to do anything. And remember me and my last job?
Oh, yeah.
And the amount of hours I had to put in?
Yep.
And then how I felt after the day on top of working for a shitty company for a shitty boss that no one really cares.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not fun. It's good to have time off to just for yourself. It's good me time. And yeah, so far I'm actually really enjoying this job. Just as what you mentioned, the sick days. Yeah, I just don't at least say you have 3 days a month to have a sick day for. Say that, and then I can think, oh, okay, we have sick days per se, but we really don't have anything. It's just vacation days, which if you use a vacation day for a sick day, I don't know what to think about that, because I don't think you should really use a vacation day for a sick day, because you know what? Vacation days is for beyond relaxing. That's to get away from work, which I'm sure if you're on vacation, oh God, I really hope I wouldn't have to get called in. Well, they wouldn't be able to call me in because it's like, hey, I'm far away. Call someone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you really feel legitimately ill or sick, that's a legit excuse to not come into work. You feel icky, you shouldn't drive a bus for 10, 12 hours a day. Because it takes a lot out of you. Normally the last 2 hours of my day gets rough. But when you are feeling sick the whole day, oh, I can't imagine doing that for an entire day. You ever go through a day at work where it's not busy? You know what? It's my Saturdays. The one day of the week where I always dread coming in because I'm always lacking sleep is actually the day that almost very little happens. I still have passengers, but not to the degree of weekday passenger runs.
That's shocking to me.
Saturdays are completely dead because everyone wants to stay at home. No one wants to go anywhere because you know what? Why would you need to?
Most of the people you have to go to doctor's offices and stuff, right?
Dialysis.
Right. So doctors, most of those places aren't open on the weekends.
Yes, there are some hospitals where some doctors are not even there. Some of the more newer doctors are there because they can't get any days during the week.
Most of those people are Monday through Fridays.
That too. Most people do their shopping on Fridays, which is annoying. So Fridays is the heaviest day of the week.
Not Walmart customers.
While Saturdays in my week is the least busiest day because you know what? People calm the hell down. But then apparently Sundays get nuts because it's like, oh, Friday and Sunday are the shopping days because you either want to do it on a Friday where you enjoy the rest of your weekend or you do it on a Sunday so that you don't have to do it during the week. I don't get it. So
calm your tits. No.
So really, I enjoy the Saturdays that I work because you know what? Easy peasy. It's just waking up. It's not fun, but you know what? My day is easy. It's just
Sunday is the busiest day for us.
And you don't work Sunday.
Because that's when everybody doesn't work. So they all decide, this is the day I'm coming to Walmart.
So they trash the place.
And when they find that half the place is empty and depleted already anyway, and they were too late. So they shouldn't have waited to come on a Sunday.
Is there really no one that actually comes in on a Sunday?
Yeah. 2 of my coworkers both work.
But beyond that, there are very, very others. There aren't others that come in on a Sunday then.
They overschedule the crap out of us, so we'll probably have 4 or 5 cashiers on a Sunday. Maybe 6.
Yeah, that's
out of like 12 or 14 lanes.
Although I've never seen that many lanes open.
Me neither.
Not in a long time.
Never.
That's actually a vestigial thing.
Yeah.
I rarely see more than 2.
If you do see that many, half of those people don't belong up there anyway, and they're just up there to help during the big rushes.
Right. Which is, I'm sure, holidays and whatnot. Yeah. That's about it. I think that's the only reason why they would have that many cashier spots is to help alleviate the congestion to get these people out the door.
You'll see somebody from deli go over there. You'll see somebody from apparel. You'll see somebody from sporting goods. You'll see somebody from health and beauty.
Yeah.
Maybe from sporting goods and hardware. That's like 5 places. Maybe a second person from apparel, if they're lucky.
You know what I'm kind of glad is that I'm not a manager, which apparently they don't come in on the weekends. And when they say, oh, when you become a manager, you are on call. Well, really, I'm there on a Saturday, and that's a day that a lot of people rather not want to work anyway. There are actually more people that work the Sundays than they do the Saturdays, so I don't understand why, but I guess. I don't see a single manager come in on an
On the
entire
weekends?
weekend.
At your place?
And they claim
Why bother?
that the managers may have to come in if they got more work to do, or they take their work with them home. But it doesn't seem like they ever do that. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like a bad idea, but that might come with a lot more work than what meets the eye. But dispatchers, they'll drive and they'll dispatch if need be, which is just kind of a no-go. Because you could work 7 days a week for months at a time. Nope, not worth the extra money. Okay, let's see. It's happened here in California before, but were you... I don't know if you're talking to... on
Not
strike.
me.
So...
We don't strike. We're not unionized.
So I don't know if my station has ever actually gone on strike before, because that would totally cripple the whole county. So if they did go on strike, nothing gets done, which they would rather have things get done anyway. So they probably would want to talk to us and hear our demands and whatnot.
Yeah, it would be quick.
It would be
a
quick
short
because
strike.
we're public transportation. The cities, the whole county of nearly 2 million people will literally be at a standstill.
Didn't Kramer go on strike?
Yeah, for 10 years. At a pastry shop.
Pastry
And then
shop
when
was a bagel
finally
stand?
the wage he was wanting was then the minimum wage, he finally went back to work, which was pointless. And then he got fired again for gum falling into a batter, something like that.
Did he yell at somebody, scab? Scab. Scabs are the people that come into.
Oh, so they're the ones that actually keep working while there's a strike.
Yeah.
Which I understand why you want to do that, because you still want your paycheck. However, if you're still union, you still get paid anyway.
Even when you're striking?
Even if you're not striking, you still get whatever your other workers get, you get it too, because that's part of the union. It's like with the auto workers, GM striked for nearly 6 weeks, and 8 weeks, and they finally got what they wanted. Ford, which the major manufacturers in this country all the same union.
Yeah.
Then Ford wanted those same changes to what GM got, so they just got it. So even competing competitors that don't strike will get the same benefits that the other company got, just because it's easier and you don't have to worry about shutting down production.
Right.
So,
you want to keep competitive with the neighboring employers so that you don't lose employees to them.
Then that too. I mean, it makes sense. And yeah, as far as I know, I don't know if I really want to ask that, because so far we're doing so good. So I don't know if I ever want to see the word strike in my station, because there hasn't really been a good need, and I don't want to set something off or be looked at, say, hey, we should go on a strike for no reason, which you do need a reason to go on strike if things are really that bad.
Right.
To change something, that's one thing. But no need to mention a strike if everything is all going fine. So I'm sure they've probably went on strike before. Doesn't seem like they've gone on strike in a long while.
Yep.
Which means things seem to be okay. And the unions, which I could have attended one of the union meetings, but the problem is it's hard to go when you work at the same time as the meeting itself.
Yeah.
So you know what? To me, it was perfectly pointless to try to show up, because, or it's like me saying, hey, I want to call off work to go to the union meeting, which is conveniently during the times of 8 o'clock a.m. to 2 p.m.
That's a long meeting.
Well, I don't know if it's that long, but I think you show up to know what's going on and you make a vote and then you go home or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
So you're not there the whole time.
Right. I think it's literally to be caught up on what's going on. You learn, and then you vote, and then you get the hell out of here. Thing is, though, I would not mind doing that once, just to see what they are about, to see if it's worth going to more of them. But the problem is, it's hard enough to go to them if you work during those times.
No.
And if they ever complain to me about, well, why haven't you gone to a union meeting?
I don't think they would.
I would hope not. And I don't think they would either, because one, it happens to be on a day that I work.
No.
Make it like a safety meeting. Have it multiple days. That way, people have a chance to come to it, not just one day where only nobody shows up to when they can, and the ones that would like to can't. So. But I'm totally at the mercy of my own schedule, and well, I guess it's just kind of have to just get along with it. But
yep.
Generally, I actually like my job. Now, since I got my new job, have I complained as much about my job?
Not nearly.
There we go. There is much more good about my current job that every day after work at my old job, I would complain to him about my job at length. Since I got my new job, what is the percentage of a month of when I complain about my old job? The amount of time every day.
What's the question again?
All right, let me reword that. So within about a month's time,
Mm-hmm.
How much time do you think I spend complaining about my job after work?
Now, as compared to the old job?
Let's say that for both, yeah.
I don't really. Well, I mean, you.
I complain about specific things that isn't about my job, but sort of is the job, but not really.
You do, but it's not the same degree.
I complain about passengers,
Right.
which is something I can't control. So that's not about the job.
It's not even complaining more. It's more just sharing what happened in the course of your day.
Right. It's like I almost had a passenger throw up in my bus.
Right. Because I'll ask you how your day was, and you'll just tell me how your day went. Crazy points here and there where things.
Generally, it's not that bad. It's just there's normally crazy stuff that may happen, or stuff that's shocking, or something that was fascinating, but nothing generally bad.
Yeah.
Whereas the last job, there was nothing good to say. That was every day for nearly 2 years, and that's dropped considerably to a point to where on a podcast, I rarely ever talk about my job in the same degree as my old one.
Well, what I think of when you talked about your old job, especially towards the last 3 or 4 months,
it was getting bad.
Well, the words exactly that you'd used were dumpster fire.
Yeah. My current job is not a dumpster fire to any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
It's actually quite a good ecosystem of diversity and function.
Right. You've had some really good days and some really good clients too.
And then there are some bad days, but that's just because of stuff that I can't control. Right. I'm just a driver, and I just get thrown what's thrown at me. Right. That's it.
I mean, you're somebody's nigger.
Yes, I had a blind man on my bus, and we talked about bad jobs in the past, and music. And we talked about some music and whatnot, and really, really nice guy.
Yep.
And he's like, you know what? You're all right. You know what? I don't care what they have to say about you. Take it easy. And then he gave me the N-word. It's like, huh.
That is a sign of respect.
That is a sign of respect.
Yep.
And then he just pretty much gave me like a handshake and a really aggressive fist bump, and then he walked off. Hey, it's like I'm cool in his book.
That's good. That's great.
It's like, oh, I got the title. I don't know if he knew that I was white or not, but I think he probably did know. But he was a cool dude.
Yeah.
And then yesterday I picked up Dr. Lester Carter who apparently is incredibly well known in Milwaukee, and opened up one of the very first Black-owned pharmacies in Milwaukee, and how hard it was to do in the 1960s.
Oh, I'm sure.
And he still does it to this very day. I don't know how old he is. He's doing pretty good for his age. But when I was dropping him off on his street, his name is the street. And I didn't make any connection until I looked at the street names, like the Honorary Dr. Lester L. Carter. Then I turned around and says, "Is that really you?" I'm like, well, no, I didn't say that. I said, "Doctor?" And like, "That's me." And like, no way. And I was like totally poofing up. I was like, oh my goodness, I got someone legendary on my bus. And that felt really good, actually. Then he's like, I am honored to be, I am honored to have you as my driver. And I just simply say, no, I am totally honored to have you as a passenger on my bus. And just still just puffed up, yeah. So it's weird when you pick up someone who happens to have a street named after them, and then make the connection. Oh, are you related to Lester Carter, or are you Lester Carter? Because I am dropping you off on a street called the Honorary Dr. Lester Carter. And he's like, "Yep, that's me." And like, oh, and I just absolutely spaz. That made my day. That is by far the coolest day I've ever had.
And this is why you treat every passenger
with respect.
With respect, because you never know who they are, or who they were.
Because I didn't actually know him. I just knew him by his name on a list, Lester Carter. And it's like, oh, okay. And, immediately he got along with me because we goofed off on the side of the road and just, being cordial, as you should with other human beings, because you want to be friendly with other human beings, because that's how we want to be treated.
Yeah.
And we just got along right off the bat. And then when I started pulling up to his street corner, it was like, whoa. This street name. And I look back to him and says, "Doctor?" And like, "Yeah, it's me." And like, just, again, spastic Hoosk.
Yep. This is why I will always
treat people with respect, because you don't know who they actually are. And
I'll
sometimes
always abide by that. The whole premise of, treat others how you
want to be treated.
You want to be treated.
And in the African American community in Milwaukee, he is incredibly well known.
Yeah.
His pharmacy is incredibly visited. A lot of people trust him to being their doctor, because not only does he run the pharmacy, he is also
a client.
He is also their doctor.
Oh.
He's not just a doctor, he's also a pharmacist. He does both jobs, and he might be in his 70s or 80s or something like that. So, he's doing this because he knows this is his calling.
We have a pharmacist at our pharmacy, actually, at Walmart.
Yeah.
Dr. Al. He has a PhD, and he's also the pharmacist.
Yeah.
One of 3 pharmacists.
And some people just have that higher calling. And so did Dr. Carter. I was going to say Mr. Carter, but you know what? If you deserve the title of doctor, I will call you doctor, because you know what? You deserve that title. You help people in your communities, and that is a title that you should be respected upon by just being called doctor, because you are the glue that helps keep society healthy and together. And I think he knew that I made no connection when I picked him up, thinking that I thought he was just an ordinary gentleman who just seemed to be really, just his, like, he had told me that he had foot problems and that he had his foot set and whatnot, and how he felt so good. Because I asked him about, all right, hop on my bus. How are you doing, Lester? feeling okay on this fine day, and he talked to me about his foot. And he told me that he felt a million times better because he has his own doctor. So a doctor has a doctor, which is just fun.
Yeah.
And he says, yeah, he helped set my foot in a way. I don't think he's a foot doctor, so I think he literally went to another doctor to get help.
Right.
And he says,
somebody he trusts probably.
yeah. And he says, I can walk around just fine now, which is amazing. Then I told him about my back and felt, oh yeah, getting some work done on my back felt the greatest thing. So I can genuinely understand how you feel about your foot in terms of pain. When something gets done and you feel amazing, it is the best feeling you can ever feel.
Yeah.
And I think he made the connection as someone who had also gone through physical pain. There's a connection that one can make. But I just thought of him as an ordinary person. I just thought of him as my passenger. And it wasn't until the street sign did it give it any clues as to who he was.
Yeah.
Because he was wearing a button-up shirt. He was wearing a bow tie with like a red bow tie with polka dots and a cloth cap, really, really well dressed and whatnot. So, very, very fine older gentleman who's got style, which some of my passengers, they got style, which I can appreciate. And then when I saw the signs like, doctor, I'm like, yeah, like, oh, so yeah, it's one of those, it's just those days is what makes driving a bus so much more fun because you don't know who you're going to get.
Yep.
There's some people that I know who are total assholes. So when I get them on my bus, it's like, I'm just going to go along my day and then just drop them off somewhere. But I don't have to talk to them. The job is to not really talk with them, but you can.
You don't want to just drop them off somewhere. You're dropping off at their
at their destination,
is.
But when you pick up some of your best clients, the day is a lot more fun and it goes so much quicker. But yeah, there are good benefits about being a bus operator. It's you don't know who you're going to pick up, and I was totally clueless to who I was picking up. And then on my lunch break, I learned more about Dr. Carter, and then found out, whoa, this man is an actual icon of Milwaukee. And I learned something new that day, something that, again, didn't know. There are some streets in Milwaukee that were the numbered streets. They get renamed after important individuals. And for the most part, these numbered streets always get renamed by iconic figures of the civil rights movement of the 1960s, or the 1950s and the 1960s. One of them is, of course, MLK, which, is to be expected. He is Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. There might be a junior. That might be another street. Because there's actually an MLK and an MLK Junior Drive. There are two different ones. You don't want to get those two confused in Milwaukee because you go to two different locations. Odd enough why they didn't add Junior to the main street, but there's a secondary street with Junior, which is interesting. Then there is Vel R. Phillips. That's 4th Street. And then there's so MLK Drive used to be called 1st Street. 2nd Street, I forgot what it is called. 3rd Street, it's named, but I forget what it is called too. And 4th Street is Vel R. Phillips, who I believe she might be a judge. I don't know. I need to do my own research on Milwaukee history.
No idea.
And 24th Street in Milwaukee is also known as Dr. Lester L. Carter Avenue. So, interesting stuff. You learn a little bit along the way, so it's actually fantastic.
I have to pee again.
Uh-oh.
It's happened.
It's,
The floodgates have opened.
oh, no. The
Regularly visiting litter boxes around the neighborhood, peeing in all of them.
You're just peeing in sandboxes at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, you damn cat, get away from my sandbox. But yeah, that's a fun part of my week so far, is just meeting an icon that I just oblivious to know who he was until a simple street sign. Just because otherwise, sometimes you may end up just doing your job, dropping him off at an intersection, not even looking at the street sign. Drop Mr. Lester off, and never even actually knew of his importance in history. But looking at a simple sign 20 feet in the air will definitely change your perspective for the rest of the day, which, again, it's literally all chance on where you're looking in life. So it was kind of like meeting a celebrity, and he didn't boast about anything. He was just an ordinary passenger on a bus. He didn't say who he was. He didn't say he was a doctor. I just called him, "Are you Lester Carter?" And it's like, "Oh, that's me." He gave me a salute and whatnot, and just really, really, really absolutely positive demeanor, absolutely fun, absolute being of a soul, and made no effort to say who he actually was. He just says, "Yep, that's me," and chatted for a little bit and went about our way. And by the time I was dropping him off was when I started to know the sign, and that's where some form of connection of, if you get renamed in a street in Milwaukee, you did something for either the city or in society. If you happen to be a living person with their name on a street, that's even better, because you finally get to meet the person that the street's now named after. So, I really hope I actually get to see him again. That he is a really, really fun individual. That would be really cool. But yeah, he actually, I forget what road that was off on, but it's on the corner of 24th Street, or really, Dr. Lester Carter. He runs his own pharmacy. And in 1968, he opened, I think he moved from another state, moved up to Milwaukee in 1968. And at that time in the 1960s, it was tough for really any black doctor to not only try to get his foot in the door in a pharmacy that, could be run by a whole bunch of white people, but it was even more harder for a black doctor to actually not only just run his own pharmacy, but to build it from scratch and to run it and being in control of it all. And he helped a lot of people in his time, and he still is. There are people that still come to his pharmacy because they know that he is a person that they can trust. And I think that's absolutely beautiful as far as a history lesson and an individual. I think it's absolutely fantastic of what he's been able to bring to Milwaukee, not just his services, but also the trust that he's been able to build up with the minds and hearts of many. Because it seems a lot of people go to a store, and I think that's amazing. And he shows no sign in retiring. I actually don't know how old he really is. He ain't young, but I am absolutely astonished that at his age he is still doing what he loves. And I think that's a sign for everyone to say, if you enjoy doing something, why should you stop? So it's just really fantastic. I think that's really good and inspiring. Yeah, I think I totally agree with that. Someone like him can really tell practically anyone, if you enjoy doing something and you love to help your community, age is just simply a number. It should never slow you down. Grandpa Hoosk is only 83, and he still works a part-time job at the baseball stadium in Milwaukee. Now it's called Amfam Field, but I'm still going to call it by Miller Park because that sounded a lot better. And my grandfather thought he was going to retire when he was 80? No, 3 years later, he's still doing what he likes. Why should you stop something because you're getting older? If you enjoy doing what you enjoy doing, an age shouldn't stop you. Even, well, I think Lester Carter, I believe he is still a full-time pharmacist and doctor. That's the most amazing thing about it. My grandfather is doing it part-time, but Dr. Carter is still a full-time licensed doctor and pharmacist, which means he has literally put heart and soul into what he does to better his community and, the world, just with his humble story alone. So, yeah, I am so poofed up from the encounter. I'm still poof. So, yeah, you may never know who you'll meet one day. And even someone like my encounter, you may not know him, but you treat him the same. And often enough, it's just fun to discover something at the tail end of a journey, and then you realize, oh, your name is on a street sign. And for the most part, a lot of the people who get named, it's very unlikely that some of them are alive at the time when they rename a street. Sometimes they will rename a street after the passing of an iconic historical figure, someone who's done a lot for community, state, or nation. Very, very rare will a city may even name a street while this individual is still alive. So this is actually kind of just, it's also fun to know someone, but it's also fun to know that you make that connection on a street sign. So it's just fun, just absolutely fun. And oh my goodness, he has I can see he was wearing a mask, but I can tell he was smiling, and his smile is just full of warmth. Yeah, I hope I hope to have him as a passenger again one day, because he was a really amazing person. And I meet a lot of amazing people along the way too. There are very, very few people I don't like on my bus, but about 98% of them I do enjoy. So, and when you get to know them by their first name, and they get to know you by first name, conversations continue. Even after a week of them being not on my bus, we pick off where we ended. So that's just kind of fun. That's just another benefit of just being bus driver, is often enough you finish or you continue a conversation that you've had a week ago, and you just keep going. So it's just fun.
That's good.
So yeah, there is a lot to like about this job. There's a few things that I may don't understand or just don't care, but it's not enough to sway the positivity away from the job. There's a lot more that I like than I dislike, and it's not enough for me to turn myself off from it.
Right.
Will I go back to my old job just to have the personal days? No. I would rather stick with this job with knowing I don't have personal days, because I know that I have sanity on my side.
Yeah.
Compared to going back to where I worked and having insanity thrown everywhere and chaos. No, I would rather not have to do that. That's something I just rather want to avoid. I would rather deal with people who don't know how to park and block a street off and then having to navigate a tight Milwaukee street than to go back to my old job doing what I was doing before. I would rather back up a bus halfway out of street than I would working back on my old job. That's how much I would rather back up a bus. And backing up a bus is not fun. 10 feet, not a problem. Half a block sucks. But I'd rather do that than go back to my old job. So
actually, a customer come to me today and say that this certain type of lettuce that we carried was literally, he considered it top shelf.
I take that as a compliment.
And that he only comes there for it.
It must be the way that you put the lettuce out.
Yes.
superior lettuce poos?
It's just apparently it's a high grade quality lettuce, and we have it at a decent price, so he only comes there.
That's amazing for Walmart.
Yeah, I was shocked, honestly. I
I
mean,
just think of lettuce as lettuce.
yeah, lettuce is lettuce, but I guess it's butter lettuce, so it's more.
So you just get sticks of butter with your lettuce.
Yeah, butter lettuce.
Oh, it just slides out of the package. Oh my god, it just slips away from my plate. Oh, I'm just.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like, hey, honey, are you ready? Hold on a minute. I gotta open a bag of lettuce, and just put it on your dick and just start. Oh yeah.
Honey,
Oh my god, this romaine lettuce feels great.
I got the butter lettuce this time. Ooh, okay.
I'm gonna give you what you want. Gonna give you what you need. Ah, taste my lettuce, and then just go ham. Oh wow! Actually, I'm not even gonna consider that as a low in this chat. I think that's considered a high.
What is
Using lettuce buttered lettuce as lube. Should I take
No.
this podcast another
No.
step down?
No.
Okay, all right, I won't now.
I'm gonna sleep soon because I have to work tomorrow.
Aw, Poos has to get up
I'm
early.
feeling it already.
Aw, that's a good time. And you know what? I would say a live cast should be anyway 2 hours long.
We're at 5:45. What time do we start? 4?
We may have started at around 4 or something.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would say on average, because normally our ordinary podcast lasts about 2 hours anyway. That's kind of the gold standard.
Unless we were like crunched for time, then we just do like an hour and 20.
Right. If we're rushed on time, we only do an hour. If we're doing good, we'll do 2 hours. Or if we have a group, it'll go as long as we need to until we all get fed up with it. Between me and one other person, 2 hours is a good length. And then just to kind of get on with our days and what, because there's other things we'd like to do.
You have stuff you have to do. Anyway.
Right. Yeah. And considering Thursday before 1 year anniversary, today being the only day I can actually get stuff done before the hectic day of Friday and the early day of Saturday before, she comes over in the afternoon, there's not much time for the rest of the week for me to get anything done until after she's gone. And it's kind of already too late by then. But would rather get stuff done while I can, maybe even enjoy the outside a bit because it's still nice out. So just do kind of stuff like that. So
Can I ask? She doesn't go by Ben anymore.
I don't know if we've ever actually discussed that, because I know that she changed the name of Ricky from Ricky to, I believe, Rickie.
So
So
I can still call
really,
her Ricky.
oh yeah, I think she's going interchangeably with that.
But what about legal name?
It's up to her. I haven't asked that question yet, but that's up to her if what she wants to do with it.
Because I don't know many females named Ben.
Benny, I don't know.
Benihana?
That's Japanese.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
What
totally
is
up to her.
Benihana?
It's a sushi place.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well renowned.
I don't know. It's like any other sushi bar. I believe there might be one nearby, but
Really?
or maybe that's Fujiyama. Sushi, yeah. Sushi's really good. I like sushi. Oh my god, it's just so. Before we sign off, let's actually talk about our local sushi meet, which, because the pandemic, hasn't happened because normally we bring a lot of people in, but because of pandemic, we just haven't done it yet. But I'm sure people would. You weird cat. So we tend to get about maybe anywhere from 12 to 18 to 20 furs in a sushi bar. And some of them get competitive.
Mm.
They get competitive with the amount of sushi they can eat. And
TJ.
normally it's between TJ, Giga, Kiva, maybe Ray, and then maybe someone else. And there is competition to see who can eat the most pieces of sushi while we're there. Carol?
No.
Oh. And you know what? Normally, the competition normally narrows down to two competitors. Giga and TJ.
And
And
they're
normally-
two of these smaller
And these,
people. Isn't Giga's kind of...
no, Giga's more lanky,
He's long.
but he is long. He is a
Right.
long doggo.
Yeah.
TJ is a Greek marble statue of what a gladiator should be.
Yeah.
Because TJ, you have a glorious body.
He's
Quite nice.
I consider him a bodybuilder.
Oh, he is. He actually works out. Yeah. And you know what? It shows. If you put the determination and the effort, you can achieve anything. And with bodybuilding, if you work a couple hours a day on your body and you be careful on what you do eat, and you eat some things that help allow you to gain mass, to allow you to build up muscle mass, perfect. And TJ is a good example of someone who is committed to working out in a way that works good for him.
He takes care of himself.
And he takes good care of himself. And he works out, which he says that in the winter times it kind of like slacks off a bit, but I can understand because there's not much to do. But in the summer times, he starts working out considerably. And between those two, it normally gets pretty close at times. But most cases, it's usually TJ is the one that takes the lead as far as most
How many
sushi.
Pieces?
73, 74, something like that.
74 pieces of sushi. 74.
Maybe a little bit more than that. I'm not sure. But
I think it might have been 76.
It may have been 76. It's been a little while.
I don't even come close to that.
I think the most I've done was maybe, I forget if it was 38 or 48. And then after that, it's like I tapped out because I couldn't fit anymore. I was all sushed out.
I think I got close to like 20, 25.
You know what? I think it was 38. I couldn't get the last three pieces down. And I ended up staring at it for like another hour until I started shoveling. Okay, so maybe it was 40 pieces because I had to at least eat two more, and I think I gave one to someone else. So I think the max I ever did was 40. And at that point, full tank Hoosk, and then coma, just absolutely flop.
Yeah.
There we go. All of the good sushi stuff.
Yes.
So, yeah. So locally, we have a sushi meet, which is incredibly popular because a lot of furries here like sushi. And often enough, there is a small competition at the large, long table between 2, 3, or 4 locals that try to compete at that evening who will be going home with the most sushi in their tum. And most cases, TJ always comes out on top as far as eating the most sushi to be consumed in one evening, with normally Giga not far behind. And then they both just totally go on full on coma. Or we go to Cop's ice cream afterwards and get ice cream.
Custard.
That's right. And where we find the room in our stomachs to do that, I don't know. But all of a sudden, we all crave ice cream afterwards. We go across the corner and we eat more. For some reason, we find room for more. Isn't Wisconsin known for their cheese? Yes.
But not just.
Not just cheese, but of course the cheese, the beer, the custard,
There's other things. Hold on.
road salt, Green Bay Packers,
Orange,
Milwaukee Brewers.
Orange barrels.
Oh, fuck yeah. Orange construction barrels, which there seems to be two different species. The giant fuck off orange barrels, and then the really, 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 really skinny ones. And they just multiply up. Just like packs, just absolute herds of orange barrels just across the county. And only in Milwaukee County. Elsewhere, you don't see them that much. But only in Milwaukee County, they're everywhere. And I have to avoid hitting them with my bus because they knock my mirrors out of place, and then I have to go outside and manually adjust.
So did you know, aside from cheese,
What are you doing?
Wisconsin is also the cranberry state?
Yep,
Whey,
I guess.
ginseng root,
I didn't know that.
and sweet corn.
That I knew.
Yes. Ginseng root, though. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Sushi with cheese drizzled on top sounds good to you? I'd say so, yeah. Just because sushi, cheese, you got Wisconsin Hoosk going? Yeah. The cream cheeses in sushi, I could eat that all day. And normally, I do. Until I get full, and then I'm in trouble.
The one thing I will recommend with anything would be sriracha mayo.
That's nice. Yeah.
Not just sriracha mayo.
I would say if you're going to have a ton of sushi with friends, order a drink, but don't drink it right away. Don't order any entrees.
Don't
you know
order
what?
any appetizers even.
Because if you're going to eat, you may as well just go for the sushi buffet. Just get the sushi buffet, eat as much as you want, and then
Or like
just
the place
stick
we
with
go
it.
to is all you can eat sushi.
Or an actual buffet place that literally makes a sushi prior hand and you just pick it up.
Right.
That's one thing. But an actually made to order sushi place, don't order any entrees. Just literally order your rolls of sushi and just
Don't get
There we go.
egg drop soup or anything like that because you'll fill up on all the appetizers.
unless you are unless you want that. But if you're going on to full on getting your best bang for a buck for sushi, just don't order anything else.
Yep.
Get yourself a glass of soda, water, or what have you, but don't start drinking it until you might want to.
Yep.
But if you start chugging liquids down, liquids don't take up that much space, but it takes up volume. And yes, I would
Definitely.
love to have you over, and we'll do some Wisconsin things.
Yep.
So, because there's a lot that can be done around here. It's actually quite amazing. It's just Wisconsin summers can be beautiful. They're getting a lot more hot. They're getting a lot more hotter than I remember them to be. But still, you know what? We find things to do, and I still have fun. It's actually harder for me to find furs to go out with me to do disc golf because a lot of people say, "Oh, it's too hot." You're saying 82 degrees is too hot. This is only June. We're not even in July and August yet when it's supposed to be in the hundreds. So if you're saying right now is hot, you're telling me I don't have any chances to go out disc golfing. So, but yeah, if you ever happen to be in Wisconsin for any reason, hit us up because we would love to hang out with you too.
Definitely.
So, but you know what? Getting it closer to that 2 hour mark, I think that's a pretty good time to probably. 100 degrees is pretty freaking hot, and that's when I don't do much outside because that's when I know, okay, we're getting a bit too hot to the point where it's not worth being outside at that point. Whereas 82, I'll still be out and about. It's still warm, but you know what?
Yeah.
It's not 100 degrees. Then you add 95% humidity, then it feels like 110. Yeah, the 82 degrees feels like maybe 95, maybe even 90 degrees. But 110 degrees is not my kind of weather. I want to stay outdoors. 100-degree weather is good for the cooling down effect in the afternoon. It's a perfect time to have a bonfire, do grill outs, have friends over, hang out in the backyard, and just sip on cold drinks.
Yep.
That's a perfect day for a 100-degree day. It's not so much the middle of the day is when it's useful. It's the afternoons where you can enjoy yourself and the temperature just gets gradually cooler as the night goes down.
Yeah.
And often enough, might even be in the 70s by the time the temperature bottoms out. And it's still quite nice. So, yeah. So finding people to go do frolf with the Hoosk is becoming increasingly hard because, one, my days off are a bit strange. Two, finding people who'd still want to go out on a warm day is getting increasingly hard to find. So, yeah.
Or you do find somebody, but then they pee the whole time.
Yes, I was actually quite impressed that.
Well,
Yeah.
we drank.
We drank some. Actually, we had beers.
Yeah.
But actually, the beers didn't help, actually.
No.
That actually opened you up more than it should have closed you.
Yeah.
The water should have been a better choice for that. But
Or beer and then water.
yeah. Just may as well just get catheters. I have my portable sandbox.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's a bad look. Imagine you in fursuit and you just have a clear tube coming out.
You need to take a restroom break, Kurdan? Nope, I'm good.
And just have a bag. Oh my God.
I'm good. This
Just start shaking it.
this has got a good at least another hour's worth before I have to empty it. So
Oh shit.
I'm good.
That's oh my God.
And I got spare tanks here I can fill up when this one gets full. So
God. Just start shaking. Oh my God.
why
Oh
is
my
it
God.
bubbly?
We can't take you
I
around.
don't know. Yeah. Can't take
You
me
know what?
anywhere.
It's kind of the top of the hour. I think we did pretty good today.
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, I think it's a good time to conclude this episode. I think from the looks of it, it seems LiveCasts are pretty popular. LiveCasts, their the viewer numbers on these types of episodes are nearly double or triple than what they are on pre-recorded episodes. And not that I am a hoe for viewership audience, but hey, you know what? If it makes it interesting for everyone to tune in and enjoy, you know what? We may as well just keep on doing this type of format from this point on.
Definitely.
Because you know what? Or, well, when we go to a con, it's going to be live, but it's going to be pre-recorded live, but you get at least a chance to attend the panel if you happen to be at that con, then perfect. Or try to do a live stream at the con. But seems like this is a really popular thing to do, and you know what? I think we'll just carry on this format to the foreseeable future, because it seems many of you have enjoyed them. And King Alpha, you are our #1 viewer, so thank you very much for attending nearly all of the virtual LiveCast so far. So
Yep.
I really appreciate that. At least it shows that we have one good viewer, because sometimes I always think we get that one viewer, it's going to be Alpha now. So I really do genuinely appreciate that. And again, we just do these because it seems to be more interesting. You know what? Interesting is good. So I think this is a good time to probably wrap it up. Actually, who knows? We'll be just under 2 hours at this point.
Yep.
And then you'll get to go to bed. So with that, I am Dustin Husky.
And I'm Kurdan Sourpuss.
And thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Zooming Hoosk podcast. And we'll catch you next time. Yeah! Why did I make that sound?
I don't know.
Oh my God. Awkward sounds. Ready? And... Oh!